Assalamu alaikum. As I was watching the protest against the Swedish embassy, I saw an English journalist called Robert Carter.
But yet you are the burners of literature, the burners of poetry, the burners of one of the greatest message, the greatest book that has ever been created in this dunya, the Holy Qur'an. You guys are hypocrites, shameless hypocrites, who do nothing but defend hate speech by a minority of extremists and hate preachers. You should be ashamed of yourselves. How dare you try to lecture others, particularly those from the Muslim world, about democracy and freedom of speech and human rights when you promote the destruction of literature, the destruction of books like Nazi Germany did. Shame on you! Shame on you!
Wow, when you look at him, he's blonde, he's white, he converted, but not to Islam, to Shiism. Shiite sect and cult, but not to Islam. And there's difference between Shia and Islam. Today, I'm going to prove that with knowledge, not mere attacking to you, but to warn you from this cult, which also believes that the Qur'an is fraud, is fake, is not complete. Islam is something and Shiism is something. Now I'm going to prove to you by documents. The Shia believe that the Qur'an, the book of Allah in which you're protesting for, it's been changed, messed with. It's not the correct Qur'an. They believe that the correct Qur'an is absent with the absent imam, hidden imam in the sardab, the cellar. That's what they believe. So if anyone believes that the Qur'an is not protected, is not preserved accurately, no matter how many times he keeps saying La ilaha illallah, is not accepted of him. Be careful. I'm giving you advice and I'm warning you. Now let's get to the documents. The documents speak by itself. Here's the book مرآة العقول for Al-Majlisi, the explanation of the book Al-Kafi for Al-Kulaini. In this important book of the Shia, he admits that the real Quran consisted of 17,000 verses. Al-Majlisi, he said this narration is authentic and it is proof that the Qur'an is not complete and something had been changed in it. Look at it carefully. The Shia may deceive you and say to you, no, we have this Qur'an, look at it. The Shia are using this book. Yes, they are using it as a part of the Qur'an, based on this narration that you see in the book Al-Kafi, which is the most authentic book, whom Abdul Hussein al-Musawi, in his book Al-Muraja'at, he said all narrations consisted in this book are authentic mutawatir, yani the highest kind of authenticity. In this book, look at the page, it says that keep yourselves with this current Quran until the Mahdi emerges. When the Mahdi emerges, he's going to bring out with him the complete Qur'an which Ali wrote. Because this Qur'an that we have in our hand nowadays, it's been collected by Abu Bakr and Umar under the caliphate of Abu Bakr. And this narration you see, it tells you that Ali brought the complete Qur'an to Abu Bakr and Umar and said, this is the Qur'an that I collected completely from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They said, we don't need your Qur'an. We have already collected the Qur'an. Then he got angry and he said, I swear by Allah, you're not going to see that Qur'an anymore. Until the day of judgment. So the Shia with their taqiyya, holy lie, they say, no, wallahi, we believe this is the Qur'an. And nothing had been added into it. But when you ask them, What about being incomplete? Something had been diminished from the Qur'an. Now they're going to play games, try to get out of this problem. Because they believe that the Qur'an is incomplete. They may argue against something to be added in it, but something had been missed from it. They cannot deny it, as their books did not deny it, as their books proved it. And this narration gives that claim. See, you are in a big trouble. And Allah said to the Jews and the Christians, you are on no basis. You are baseless until you apply the Torah and the Injil. And we say the same to the Shia. You are on no basis. You're nothing in terms of faith and religion until you bring out that book. We can't tell Christians and all the disbelievers, wait, don't become Muslims now until the complete Qur'an will be emerged by the Mahdi. We can't. So as a result, the Shia believe that the Qur'an is incomplete. So that's a worse accusation against the Qur'an, ever worse than burning the Qur'an in Sweden. Isn't it shameful that you believe in Shiism? Look, the oil is blessed. So that's why that's why Iran brought all of their machines to dig in to bring out the oil. It's a blessing. What about the Mahdi? Isn't he blessing? Why don't they bring him out? And Mahdi is more blessing than the oil. Why he's hiding? Look, if his place is surrounded by the Sunni people, you may say that's why he's hiding. But he's surrounded with his own people, the Shia. I want you to imagine this, that the Prophet is in the cave with his companion Abu Bakr on their way to Medina. Why they're hiding? The kuffar are chasing them. Well, they have the right to do so. But let's imagine for 1 second that the people of Medina came and they knew where the Prophet is. Then they surrounded him to protect him against the kuffar, the mushrikeen, the pagans. Then they said, "Oh Rasulullah, get out. We are your ansar. We are your supporters." Then the Prophet say, "No, I'm going to stay here." 100 years passes, 200 years back. "Oh Prophet," next generation, "Oh Prophet, get out. You are among us, the ansar, the supporters. Under our support, get out." No. See, you converted to a myth. You converted to a sect which believes that the Qur'an is incomplete. So the shame should be on who? I'm not extremist, but I'm a person who speaks the truth, even if it costs me my life. I don't care. So after watching these documents, if you keep belonging yourself to this sect, Shiism, you will be gathered with them at the day of judgment. I gave you a warning. I advised you. And the rest is between you and Allah. Otherwise, he is a partner with Salwan Momika. In terms of what? Humiliating the Qur'an. Burning the Qur'an in Arabic means tahriq, burning. Tahriq. But the Shia have something else. They have tahrif of the Qur'an. Salwan Momika has tahriq al-Qur'an, burning the Qur'an. The Shia, and Robert is one of them, they have tahrif al-Qur'an, believing that the Qur'an have been messed with. It's not complete. It's been changed by the companions. And he claims that he came to Islam. You did not. Maybe you don't know, you're ignorant, and I don't think so. That the Shias believe that the Qur'an is changed. Look, I'm I'm talking to you and I'm watching the documents in which I'm going to show you now. They believe that the Qur'an is changed. Al-Khou'i, in his book Al-Bayan, was asked, the mutawatir, abundant narrations from Ahlul Bayt prove the evidence that the Qur'an is changed, and then we must say it. The answer came to him. He said, nevertheless, there are ample narrations, abundant narrations, which make us to believe, to be certain that some of these narrations have been taken from the Imams. At least it gives us reassurance about that. And there are considerable narrations. And among these narrations are narrations that are really considered. So that means he believes that the Qur'an is changed. Look at the book. Give it to anyone to translate it to you. And check, did I misinterpret anything? Here Al-Majlisi is narrating that the Qur'an will be saying to Allah at the Day of Judgment, "Oh Allah, they tore me, they changed me." Then on the next page, Al-Majlisi said, yes, the companions had changed the places of many verses for their own personal, lively, objective interest. They reached a great degree of insolence to the extent that they said, whoever does not believe that the book of Allah is changed, he is disbeliever. If you don't believe that the Qur'an is changed, then you are disbeliever. Watch the video of this man who lives in London, not far away from you. Yasir al-Habib, no. Not those cults, not those kind of people. But a man who's known with knowledge, is graduate from Al-Hawza, the core of Shia Academy, the madrasa that graduates clerics. عبد الحليم الغزي.
القائل بعدم تحريف القرآن كافر. قد تقولون وكيف ذلك؟ القاعدة صحيحة. هذا العدد الكبير من أحاديث أهل البيت الذي يتحدث عن تحريف القرآن، وقد استمعتم إلى كلام السيد الخوئي من أن كثرة هذه الروايات تبعث على القطع أن بعضها قد صدر من المعصوم. لو كانت رواية واحدة نحن نقطع بصدورها أو نطمئن بصدورها ونرفض هذا المعنى، إننا نكذبهم، ومن يكذب المعصوم فهو كافر.
Shame on you. You came to a sect that believe in the holy lie, taqiyya. They can get hasanat, good deeds, when they play this game, taqiyya. That means holy lie. And they have holy fornication. Holy fornication, temporary marriage. Wow, that may be good for you. Oof. You're blonde, you're white, and you're following so-called Islamic madhab, and you can marry 10 times per day. But wait a minute, let me ask you the question which I always address to the Shia, and they feel ashamed. They don't answer. The question is, do you allow it to be done to your daughter? To be taken for temporary marriage? And isn't this the same in which we find in the motels? Way-in motels. They enjoy for an hour with a woman and then they keep their way. You like it for yourself, but do you like it for your children? For your sister? For your daughter? You know what the Shia say? He says, the woman of honor who belongs to the family of Ahlul Bayt, no temporary marriage, mit'ah, should be done with her, because it will be causing her shame and humiliation. Shame and humiliation. Only the family of Ahlul Bayt, you should not be doing mit'ah with them, but it's okay for the others? Wait a minute. Is there Gentile concept in Islam? So those who do not Those who are not of Ahlul Bayt, they're just like the Gentiles. Do you allow it for your daughter, for your sister? Look at the same page of this book. Look at the same page in this book. It tells you that you're not obliged to ask the woman, if you want to exert mit'ah with her, temporary marriage, you're not obliged to ask her if she's married or not. Someone came to Ja'far al-Sadiq and asked him that, I saw a woman on the street and I invited her for mit'ah, but I did not ask her if she's married or not. Ja'far al-Sadiq said to him, why do you need to ask? You don't need to ask. Look at that page. This means that if you want to be Shiite, you have to give up the honor. You're listening to one who is well expert in Shiism. Now you may say to me, yes, I'm Shiite, but I don't believe that the Qur'an is changed by the companions as the Shia say. I do not perform temporary marriage, mit'ah. I don't believe in the holy lie. We say it is just like a Christian who says, I don't believe that God has a son. I don't believe in Trinity, but I'm still Christian. Yes, some scholars said that, but we don't believe it. This is taqiyya, holy lie, because their books until now, they are filled with the accusation to the companions, especially Abu Bakr and Umar, due to the constitution of Allah, that those whom you affiliate yourself to today, you will be gathered with them tomorrow, the day of judgment. Even if you say today, well, I disagree with certain beliefs they have, yet I'm still one of them. Look, for example, let's open, I have the document in front of me now, Bihar al-Anwar, volume 35, page 234. He's talking about the ayah in Surah Al-Ahzab where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, verily Allah intends to purify you, O Ahlul Bayt, from any impurity. He said this ayah was not supposed to be here, but the companions, they took it. It used to be in another place. They took it and put it here. So people will be thinking that Allah is addressing the wives of the Prophet, not his family, not his daughter, grandsons, etc. He said they did it for their own lively purposes. And he quoted a narration that the Surah Al-Ahzab had exposed women of Quraysh. That's why they messed with it. They tempered it. They changed it. Al-Khu'i is a great scholar. He said that the matter of the issue of the Qur'an being changed is khurafa, is myth. Why did he say it's myth? Why didn't he say it's a disbelief? It's faithlessness. Why it's only a myth? Then he said after that, the abundant narrations accumulated, collected from the leaders of Ahlul Bayt, Ja'far al-Sadiq, Musa al-Baqir, those grandsons of the Prophet, these narrations that reach to them, it give us rest and reassurance had been authentically narrated that the book of Allah has been changed. This is the big Shia scholar who died recently, couple of years ago, gave that confession. Now, let's go to the book of Al-Kafi, checked by Al-Majlisi in his book Mir'at al-Uqul, volume 12, page 525. There's a narration here. It says that the Qur'an that Jibreel descended with is 17,000 verses. Let's open the Qur'an now. What are we going to find? We're going to find something like 6,332 or 23, I don't remember. But basically, 6,300 verses. So how many verses have been missed then? 11,800 verses. Oh my God. Oh my God. Now, what Al-Majlisi said? That narration is authentic. And it is evident that a lot of verses were omitted and deleted, lacked a lot of verses. So what kind of sect you belonged yourself with? You wanted to save yourself from hell? Then you came to a sect that believes that the Qur'an have been changed, contradicting what Allah said. إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ. It is we who had descended the Qur'an. The Qur'an is dhikr. And it's on us to protect it. So that means Allah did not protect what He promised to protect. Mr. Robert Carter, the shame is also on you. You pointed your finger on the Swedish government, saying to them, you should be ashamed of yourself. And I'm sorry. And I have to say to you the same. You should be ashamed of yourself, belonging yourself to a religion that speaks to the dead people, asking help from them, which is the shirk of Jahiliyyah. Disguising Islam by hitting themselves. Messing with the Muslim world today, as you see. Where's Iran? Always with Russia and China. Always! Subhanallah. So-called Islamic State that does not cooperate with any of the Muslims except with Russia and China. You should be ashamed of yourself, belonging yourself to a religion that is productive of militias that destroyed Syria. Where are you, Robert Carter, Mr. Journalist? Didn't your mission cover what happened in Syria? Hundreds of thousands of women and children, they were killed. And the Shia say, this is our wajib of jihad in Syria. Look at this. The martyr of the duty jihad. They kill people in Syria. And if they died there, they call them martyrs of jihad. Mandatory jihad. They messed with Yemen. You are so good in putting the blame on Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia maybe failed in defending, but Saudi Arabia reacted against the ballistic missiles and armory that was stored in the mountains of Yemen, which Iran exported to Yemen. And they were aiming to reach through Yemen to Mecca. So I don't put the blame on Saudi Arabia for confronting this great conspiracy. You know what it means if the Shia dominated Mecca? Those hotels that surround Mecca, they will be recruiting places for temporary marriage. Wow! Or exporting Captagon pills, as Hezbollah is well good at it. Manufacturers and traffickers of drugs try hard to export to Saudi Arabia, all the countries, billions of pills under the banner of Hezbollah. Isn't it a shame to use the name of Allah through these false cults? You may say, I'm not of those people. I'm Shiite and that's all. No. The matter of loyalty and dissociation is very touchy and dangerous issue in Islam. Those who you belong yourself to today, you're going to be following them and be classified to be among them at the Day of Judgment. Do you know, brother, what it means becoming Shiite? Number one, that you call the dead apart from the living one who never die, asking the deads, the imams, to mediate, to intercede between them and Allah, to give shafa'ah for you with Allah. That means just like what Christians do with Mary. You know, the Shiites say, Ya Hawra, O Fatima. Christians say, Ya Adra, or Virgin Mary. See the difference between Ya Hawra, Ya Adra. Both of them agreed not to say Ya Allah. You know what it means to become Shiites? That you should be bowing down to a small idol, which they call it Qurs or Turba. They say that it's been brought from the dust where Hussein died. It became ritual. Every time you bow down in prostration, you have to have this with you wherever you go. It doesn't differ much from the statue of the Christians, the cross. The figures are different, but the idea is the same. The cross is a holy object where Jesus died. The Qurs is a holy dust where Hussein died. It's similar. It's notable here that neither the Prophet, nor Ali, nor anyone among the family of the Prophet used to be, when they go down in prostration, they used to be having something, traces of Hussein, to prostrate on. To become Shia means to believe that the Qur'an had been changed. It went to become worse than that. Whoever doesn't believe that the Qur'an is changed is disbeliever. It's been mentioned by many of the Shia clerics. One of them is in London. Not Yasser Habib, though. I know you're going to say, oh, this is a bad example. That we have nothing to do with this extremist guy. No. This guy. Watch his video. Whoever says that the Qur'an had not been changed is disbeliever already. Look at this cleric. He's also mentioning my name during my debate with his people.
عندما يسأله هذا الشيعي اللي كان يناظر دمشقية يقول له أن التحريف واقع في القرآن ومنكر التحريف كافر. يقول له لا شنو الحل؟ يقول لكن أئمتنا رحمة منا كي لا يقع الفساد أجازوا لنا قراءة هذا القرآن وأصبح تشريع. هذا جوابك. أما التحريف لم يقع أكبر كذبة في العالم، لأن عدم وجود التحريف تكذيب لعلي، تكذيب للأحاديث، وتصديق لجمع أبي بكر وعمر وقراءته.
Look, even if you did not say that the Quran is changed, once you criticize Abu Bakr and Umar, who collected the Quran, then the Quran is not credible anymore. If those who collected the Quran are not credible, then the Quran which they collected is not credible. To become Shiite means to believe in what they call temporary marriage, even without the parents' consent. Taking also women from their backs. You know what I mean. Here's a fatwa from Khomeini that it is permissible to sodomite women. That means taking them from their back. You know what I mean. Molesting children, playing sex with them even if they are still taking the milk from their mothers. Look at the fatwa. This is the fatwa. That's what makes Khomeini the groom and that child the bride. Groom and bride. Allahu Akbar. By the way, even Sistani, he says, if sodomiting one's wife with her consent, then it's okay. Wow. Infant children, they're not eating yet. They're only taking milk. You can molestate them. Islamically, look at his book, Tahrirul Wasila. The Shia always have indecent fatwas, such as the one you're going to see. This cleric's name is Salah Shubbar, and he's saying the shameful parts of the woman that should be covered in front of her brother, father, uncle is only between the navel and the knee. Other than that, if she shows her breasts in front of her family, father, brother, uncle, etc., it is okay. She does not have to cover her breasts. Watch the fatwa.
الأب الأخ، أبناء الأخ وأبناء الأخت، العم، هؤلاء يعبر عنهم بالمحارم. يجوز للمرأة أن تتكشف أمامهم. ما بين السرة إلى الركبة يستر، ما فوق السرة وما تحت الركبة لا يجب ستره. الحين مثلا أخت تريد تظهر مثلا صدرها كله أمام مثلا إخوتها أو أمام أبيها أو عمها أو خالها، كحكم أولي جائز. المرأة يجوز لها أن تظهر ما فوق سرتها وما تحت ركبتها أمام المحارم.
And the definition of awra, shameful spots, in the man's body are only two things: the dick and the buttocks. That's all. And in the book Al-Kafi, it says, if you covered the penis and the scrotums, you have already covered your shameful part. Period. But in the book Al-Kafi, the most authentic book for the Shia, we have a narration that they used to be massaging the family of the Prophet, massaging everything in their body, even their pubic hair. But they used to be covering the scrotum, the penis, and the buttock. Wow! Look at the fatwa here in the most authentic book, which Al-Muraja'at says it's mutawatir. All the narrations are mutawatir. This is in their book Wasa'il al-Shia, but also Sistani gives fatwa about it. Sheikh Khou'i, the biggest cleric in Shiism, he was asked, is it allowed that two men play with once each other's private part? He said, it is okay. Oh my God! What kind of cult you affiliated yourself to? This is what it means if you want to become Shiite. If you want to become Shiite, you can disguise Islam by practicing the inherited Christian ceremony, which used to be called flagellation. Shia inherited it from them. Look, this is how they disguise Islam. Hitting your back with the chains, bleeding yourself, as we see in that day. At that day, I wish I can hide myself away from those non-Muslims, because they're going to be asking me, what is this in Ashura? Why your people who say La ilaha illallah, they keep beating themselves, even using the razor, the knife, hitting the head of their children. They're also crawling and even walking on their knees and barking like dogs. And they say, we want to be dogs for Ahlul Bayt. If you want to be Shiite, you have to ignore the black history of the Shiites, who were the cause of 2 million victims being killed by Holaku, the Tatarian, who occupied Iraq and caused the killing of 2 millions by the cooperation of Nasir ad-Din al-Tusi, the Shiite prime minister who used to be the minister of the Abbasid Khalifa, the last Abbasid leader, al-Musta'sim Billah. And then he cheated him and he cooperated with Holaku and allowed him to enter Iraq. If you want to be Shia, you have to hide this. What about today? Are they different? No. You can see the Iranian flag, Jumhuri Islami Iran, and their cooperation is always with Russia and China. Black history and black current history. We will never forget what Iran did in the Muslim world, especially in Syria, killing hundreds of thousands of women and children, misplacing millions, almost 15 millions, bringing Shiite people from Afghanistan and Pakistan and Iraq to substitute the Sunni people. If you want to become Shiite, believe that it is Ali, the cousin of the Prophet, who is going to be judging people and deciding who deserves to go to hell and who should be going to paradise. And the family of the Prophet will be forming a government at the Day of Judgment. They will be giving the decision who deserves to go to paradise, who deserves to go to hell. Not the prophets, not the messengers, no. Only Ali and his family. Who says that? One of the most reliable current clerics today, Ahmad Salman. Not only him, I have seen hundreds of people, clerics, saying the same thing. Watch the video.
علماؤنا الأعلام قالوا لا، نحمل الحديث على ظاهره. أنا قسيم النار والجنة، يعني فعلا أمير المؤمنين هو الذي يقسم الناس يوم القيامة، هذا إلى الجنة وهذا إلى النار. أمير المؤمنين هو الذي يقسم الناس يوم القيامة، هذا إلى الجنة وهذا إلى النار، إلى جهنم. قال ما عندنا، ليش نصرف الحديث عن الظاهر؟ ظاهره أنه هو فعلا واقعا قسيم للنار والجنة، وهذا المعنى موجود في روايات كثيرة. هي أن لأهل البيت عليهم السلام حكومة يوم المحشر،
وروايات كثيرة أن علي قسيم النار والجنة.
روايات كثيرة أن لأهل البيت عليهم السلام حكومة يوم المحشر، لأهل البيت عليهم السلام سلطة يوم المحشر، هم الذين يباشرون محاسبة الناس. وتشتقرأ في الزيارة الجامعة التي نقرأها موجودة العبارة: إياب الخلق إليكم وحسابهم عليكم. هذه الفقرة في الزيارة الجامعة نص في هذا الموضوع، يعني فعلا لأهل البيت عليهم السلام حكومة فعلية يوم المحشر. قدماء الشيعة فهموا هذا المعنى: وأنت عند الصراط تعرفني فلا تخف عثرة ولا زللا، أسقيك من بارد على ظمئي، تخاله في الحلاوة العسل، أقول للنار حين تبرز للعرض دعيه لا تقرب الرجل. شوف مباشرة، مو قضية دنيوية، لا، قضية أخروية في المحشر. أقول للنار حين تبرز للعرض دعيه لا تقرب الرجل، دعيه لا تقربيه، إنا له حبلا بحبل الوصي متصلا.
Wow. And you say, I converted to Shiism. Bad for you. Shame on you. Every new sunrise, there are tens of thousands of people who convert to Islam in America, in Europe, everywhere. Once they convert to Islam, they come to us, not to the Shia. Your case is an anomaly case, unlike the original. We represent the original Islam, but the Shia represent the fake Islam. So usually people come to us, not to them, except your case. And your case is not normal. So come to us and leave the Shia after what your eyes had experienced already. It may be harsh to say, you should also be ashamed of yourself. But I hope that this will be awakening you. If you came to Islam because you want to save yourself from hell at the Day of Judgment, leave this cult now. Otherwise, the blame will be on you at the Day of Judgment, especially after you watch this video. Goodbye.